So, can everybody? All right. Oh, I see, Tolu. Hello. Okay, so we're almost ready to wrap up, but I think people are joining in. And there's Lindy, and I'm waiting for Zooks. And maybe that is it. Maybe we are almost done. Hi, Tolu. It's nice to see you. I haven't seen you in a number of years. All right, I see James. And I'm going to see if Leia or Zooks is here and if they can come join me. And maybe people have questions. Are there any questions that people would like to ask? We have a couple more minutes, maybe time for one or two questions before we... Oh, there's Bissy.
Oh, hi.
Hey, Bissy, you're in Ghana too.
Yes.
How? So tell us, have you been able to write? You've been editing your book, right?
I finally finished doing it, actually. So
Congratulations.
I, I,
Tell us.
I needed I needed to do it because I was getting way too depressed about this whole lockdown. So that book kind of saved me from depression. And you guys on Afrolit.
I'm so glad. I'm so glad. Tell us the title of it so we know to look for it. And when is it coming out? Do you know?
Oh, remember that? Yeah, that question. I never want to answer it and jinx things because I have no idea with the way the whole world has ground to a halt. No, no, no. So it's Daughter in Exile, but we have to wait and
Uh-huh.
see what happens in the future. I have no idea what will happen. Yeah,
Okay. Daughter in Exile. That's
yeah,
very good.
yeah.
Okay. And um, what was it like editing during the lockdown?
Oh my God, it was so hard to concentrate because, I did something crazy, something I never do, which is to have the TV on while I'm trying to write. It was insane because I would hear Donald Trump and then I would just go off and get depressed, sit on the couch and stare, then turn it off and write for a little bit and then turn it
Oh
on
my
again.
God.
It was in fits and starts, stop and go, stop and go, stop and go, because I was filled with anxiety until I finally decided I had to get it done or I would never do it. So then I
Yeah.
just buckled down for about a week and turned off the TV and then started concentrating. Yeah.
That's fantastic, DC. Well, I have a question for you. So you're going to close us out, but the theme for this session of Afrolit Sans Frontières is a question that you wish you'd been asked that you never get asked.
Oh, you know, let me see. I'm not sure. I think the question that I wish people would ask me was whether I have other talents beyond writing. Because,
Ah,
I think people think, I feel that as artists, there's so many facets to us. Like, for instance, Remy likes his music and cast and all that. And for me, I draw. I really like to draw and I like to sing. And when things are not going well and I start to draw, everything calms down. I become very quiet and then I'm able to write. So for me, drawing is something that gives me a little bit of space to be quiet. And
wow.
also, yeah, and also just dancing or singing. I love singing, and people don't know this, but believe it or not, I actually love singing hymns.
Wait, can we hear?
But
What's one of your favorite hymns that you like to sing?
um, it's um, it's something like well, something like this. Which one is it? Let me see if I can find one. Oh, it's so embarrassing. But I like him 525. And I think one of the verses that I really like is, we expect a bright tomorrow, all will be well. Things like that. And I just sit here and I
That's
sing
lovely.
loudly, and and I sing loudly and annoy my neighbors, but it makes me feel better. So
Oh, I love that. And you're drawing, what do you draw when you draw? What do you do?
I tend to draw people. And I think it's also because I'm very interested in character development. In most of my writing, I focus on
Mm.
character development and people going through changes. So I love drawing people. I love catching expressions and drawing them. And I've actually got into trouble for it. In fact, I almost got fired from a job in Washington because I kept staring at my assistant director. And then one day I just said to her, I'm so sorry that I keep staring at you, but you have such an interesting face. Well, she thought I
Mm.
was hitting on her.
Oh,
So, so fortunately, my director knew me and came to my rescue and said, "Oh, BC is always drawing people's faces, so
oh
that's
my
all."
God.
And I had to
Well,
bring her a drawing just to show her that
ah,
I really like
so
to draw.
where can we find your drawings? Somebody just asked that. And how do you balance that with your writing?
Oh, let me see. I wonder if I can show you something. I'll turn the camera. Oh no, it won't work, right? Will it work? I don't know. Can you see something?
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah,
really good. Wait, let us see again.
that's
That's
my
amazing.
yeah. That's again. I had bought a sculpture. This particular sculpture that is sitting here. Can you see it?
Yes.
It had a very long neck, and I kept looking at it, and I thought, I wonder if what it would be like if it were alive, and if the person had on a dress, and if the person had braids. And so I started drawing. So that's what I like to draw.
Fantastic.
And
Wow.
I'm
And how did,
particularly, sorry,
no, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I'm particularly interested in eyes and the lips, because sometimes you can keep your eyes expressionless, but your lips will give you away. And the lips really display a lot about a person's character.
Mm,
So,
that's really interesting. So, do you find that when you're writing, one of the first things you think about with a character is their eyes and their mouth, their
yeah,
lips?
I actually do. So when I'm writing about anger, for instance, I tend to focus on what a person's mouth looks like, or if there's a curve to the lips, like if the person is smiling, but it's not quite smiling properly. The lip can be like a hyphen. The lip can, curve up, and you can have little circles around the corner where somebody is trying to smile but doesn't really want to give in to the smile. You can see, those are the kinds of things that I focus on. And then also the flicker of expression in somebody's eyes, whether, the eyes, sometimes some look will descend into a person's eyes. So when I talk to people, I stare at them a lot. I'm always looking, and I'm memorizing expressions. And I'm thinking, oh, this is interesting. I wonder what this
Yeah.
means. So, yes.
Wow. That's really, really interesting. Do you have any favorite artists, visual artists?
You know something, and this is very interesting, but one of my artists is somebody that I've just discovered. And what's his name? Baba Aminu. Uh,
Hmm.
what is his first name again? He's always at Ake. He's very lively. And anybody, can you remember his name for me, please? I actually have some of his art that I bought at Ake, and I'll show you. I brought it home, and I had to fight Lola for that because Lola wanted that. So I bribed him with $100, and he let me have it. This is it. It's
Wow.
Yeah, Abdul Karim is his name. Abdul Karim.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, that is fantastic. Abdul Karim. Okay, somebody just mentioned. That's fantastic.
Yes.
I think we're almost running out of time. But Bissy, I'm really am wondering about like some advice you might have for people starting out. Um, what part of your expertise at this point would you want to share with people?
Well, I've had lots
That
of
you're-
failures and successes, but I would say that working with agents has probably become something I'm quite familiar with now, because I have been fortunate enough to have, about three. And what I've realized is that when when people are starting out, the first thing they want is an agent. And so first they don't polish their work and make it ready enough. They rush through the process, and you shouldn't rush. But the other thing that I think people talk about it, but perhaps not often enough, is that writers get overly excited. They want an agent so badly that the first person that says, I want your work, they jump on it. I really think it's very important to ask questions, perhaps, start slowly, talk to a number of people, talk to established writers, talk to them about some of the pitfalls of choosing the wrong agent and that kind of thing. Because there is this saying that I used to hear all the time, and I never paid attention to it, but writers don't want to believe you. But it's better to not have an agent than to have a bad one. So take your time. Don't, treat yourself as somebody who is also worth something. Don't, I mean, after all, let's say if you were looking for a life partner or a romantic partner or a sexual partner, you wouldn't go with the first person that asked you just because the person asked you, right? You have to
Yeah.
value yourself a little bit and make sure that the person's communication style suits you, that this is somebody who is really going to be your advocate, your champion. And like in all relationships, there are going to be ups and downs. So how do you handle the bad times together? It's yeah, and that is very, very important, how you handle the bad times, because there are disappointments. Sometimes an agent will do his or her very best and things don't work out. How do you handle it? And sometimes too, a writer, you could have an agent, for instance, who has sold, and I had this happen to someone I know, sold your book as a concept, was a proposal, and the book has not yet come out. But you need, in the process of the writing, you need your agent sometimes. Is the agent available to you? If the agent is not available to you, it can be a really terrible time,
Yeah.
especially, when you hear from the editor. There are all kinds of issues that might come up, and you need your agent to be on your side and to help you, navigate the complexities of the business, and to help you to even through the editing process, not to edit, but maybe to help you understand where the editor is coming from. There's so many things that goes into a relationship. It's like choosing a life partner. So don't be so cheap as to fall for the first person who asked you. So that's what I would say.
That is wonderful. VC, thank you so much. I think it's and as somebody said, this is really important information you've just given. This is invaluable. Hint, hint, hint. I hope you write this, make it into something.
Yeah, I should
Because
write an
saying
essay
it's
or an
so important.
article. Yes, I think
Yeah,
yes.
I hope you do. I think this is wonderful to hear, and it's so helpful. Even if people have agents, it's good to know this stuff.
Yes.
So
Thank
thank you
you.
so much. Is there anything else you would like to add? Just and then we can close this out.
I'm just so thrilled and grateful to everybody, to you, Zukiswa, Chike, all the people of the original cast. I want to say Afrolit, and the people I'm getting to know, but especially James and Suki. They
Yeah.
just are warriors for us African writers, and I thank you all for being there for me and just welcoming me. I came from America not knowing and hardly knowing any African writers. And thank God, and I thank Lola for having me at Ake, and that's how I met everybody. So I thank you all, and I keep meeting more and more wonderful people. Thanks to all the beggars and all the different social media people who support artists. Love you all. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, BC. I'll see you on the other side.
Yes.
All right.
Okay. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
I don't know how to exit. How do I exit?
I think you just hit the end.
Oh, okay. Yeah, leave.
Thank you. Thank you all for joining. This was a bit impromptu, but thank you for joining us. Thank you to all the writers, Remy, Frankie, BC. Thank you all for the questions that you have, for the thoughts. I'm sorry we couldn't get to all of them, but we will see you tomorrow, 12 GMT. If you don't know what time GMT is, Google it. But we will see you here tomorrow. Thanks all. Have a good evening. Thank you.